What's up, friends, and welcome into Leading Off. It's the Welsh and the Joe Arico. We're in the house today. We're living in a post-trade world. We've got the guys that are out there. We're actually seeing all these weird. Dylan Carlson in a Rays uniform looks super weird. Jack Flair. Guys are weird in their new uniforms, but we're going to talk about them. We got a whole bunch of it. We got some bets, and we got a guy who, it's not a new uniform, but we're going to talk about at the top that has been rocking it. But Leading Off is brought to you by our friends over at Bet365, where you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Use the promo code Leading Off, just like the show. Leading Off. Download the app today, Bet365. Get your bet on, bet $5, get $150. Gambling problem, you can call 1-800-BETS-OFF or 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply, but they don't when I'm here hanging with the Joe Rico. Joe, what's up, buddy?
Always great to be on with you, man. This is our little Thursday routine, which is going to get broken up again soon. But it's been nice talking to you over these last couple of weeks. It's always great when we get to do a show together.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to be doing more. Everybody, it's August. You know what that means. It's August time. Well, we're trading in a Joe for a Joe. We've got a little bit of Bubba action, but let's kick it right in. And one of Joe's favorite things, if he was here, you know exactly what he would be hitting. Yes, right there. Talking about Jackson Holliday. Jackson Holliday yesterday, Arico. We're talking about it. We're breaking. Hey, he gets called up. Pisa Pia's asking, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be a dude? And I do feel good. I'm going to hold to my laurels. I'm going to, as I said, I think he's a contact hitter. I think he's going to kind of find his rhythm back up there. And sure enough, hits a grand slam, hits his first career homer, grand slam style, almost hits another homer, by the way, over on the pull side, having a ridiculous debut. This is attached to another very important situation. Jordan Westburg fractured his hand. Huge blow, having a really great season, 270, 18 homers, 58 RBIs. This does one of two things. Solidifies Jackson Holliday for the rest of the year, and or brings up Kobe Mayo. It could be Kobe Mayo time if they're going to lose Jordan Westburg. They got some stuff that they're going to kind of finagle with. But let's start with the Jackson Holliday side. Jackson Holliday comes out big off of that horrific pro debut. Are you trusting Jackson Holliday rest of season after seeing it's only one game, but are you going to trust Jackson Holliday as like a must own and must start player?
It's amazing how one game can really change everything. I got like 30 Jackson Holliday questions yesterday. If he went 0 for 4, nobody would have cared. And we shouldn't really get too swayed one way or the other, but I've become a pretty strong believer that guys need to struggle a bit when they first come up. Maybe not initially, but they will have to go through some bumps and bruises. He did that with that 50% strikeout rate. Now I think the wheels are up, and he's going to be a really solid asset rest of the season, kind of in the same way that Wyatt Langford struggled, and he's picked things up over the last couple of months. I know he hasn't been setting the world on fire recently, but he's picked things up. Holliday's kind of the same way. I would trust him. If you're seeing him out there on any waiver wires, I'd be picking him up. He's 64% rostered on Yahoo. There's still room for you guys to still get him on your rosters. Dual eligibility. There's a lot to like here.
When I'm looking at the depth chart here, they still have Westburg in. They're going to have to make the move for it. And what may end up happening is you've got Ramon Urias. They've got a couple pieces that are floating out there that they may throw in there. Jackson Holliday currently slated as their second baseman. They could move him over to third, but it really does feel like this is a Kobe Mayo situation. And Kobe Mayo comes up. He is an absolute must pickup. So let me ask you this. Let's just say he does come up, and let's say Jackson Holliday does hold down the second base job. They're both out there. Who do you prioritize, Jackson Holliday or Kobe Mayo?
I'd go Holliday because, like I said, he's already had that initial struggle. And I also don't really trust the way the Orioles are going to use their prospects, the way that they've showed us over the last year plus. Holliday is, I think, a little bit of a different story, being like the number one overall prospect. But Kowser, Westberg, Kierstad, they come up, they sit on the bench half the time. So I kind of need to see how they're going to use him before I'd really want to take that stab. Specifically in shallow leagues, like in 15 teamers, you kind of need to just take the chance on them and hope for the best. But in shallow leagues, they just haven't really given us a lot of reason to trust these young guys coming up playing twice a week. They haven't really been that valuable. So I'm a little more pessimistic for the initial call up.
Yeah. And I've said it a lot, the path is not linear, with a lot of these prospects. There is time. I'm not sure I'm I welcome big struggles, but I also don't think struggles are the be all end all with prospects, because it's like you want to see how they bounce back and learn from it, especially guys that like really, really good contact based players. That's why I have a really good trust in Jackson Holliday. Yeah, same thing may happen with Mayo. There's some strikeout stuff out there, big power, probably wouldn't hit at the top of the lineup no matter what. I kind of do think this might be a Jackson Holliday play for the rest of the season. But if Mayo comes up, you should pick him up. I want to point something out too. Eddie, are you new here? Eddie's picking on my hair because it's flowing high. Of course it's flowing high. If I get to flow it high, she's banging. Now, I will tell you, I have been attempting a little bit more to bring it down and swoop it over, but today was a big old poof day. So, Eddie, you're new here with your LOLs. Laughing at you're not going to affect me there, buddy, because this hair with all the bald heads, we're going to take the big flow. Don't you shame me, Eddie. So Jordan Westberg out, Jackson Holliday going. Logan, more news stuff. Logan Webb was dominant. Complete game shutout, 6 strikeouts, and a 1-0 victory over the A's yesterday. He allowed just 1 walk. On the inverse of it, Framber Valdez was okay. I really thought this was going to be like one of the starts of the day. Surrendered 6 hits, 4 earned runs in 6 innings on Wednesday as the Astros beat the Pirates, but barely. Just barely in the right at the end of the game. I had Astros on a money line bet that I thought was just done, but Framber gave up a couple just bad meatballs. He's just been so inconsistent. Rest of season, Framber Valdez or Logan Webb?
Easily Logan Webb for me. Valdez, like what you said, the inconsistencies, the lack of strikeouts. Like, I know he's not been a massive strikeout guy, but he's down at just league average 22% this year. I think it's pretty easily Logan Webb for me.
Yeah, I think it is Logan Webb as well. I'm pretty down on Framber Valdez. Like, I just haven't, just the inconsistencies. I'm not about that. I mean, Logan Webb's had his stuff as well. Clayton Kershaw, speaking of inconsistencies, gave up 6 hits, 7 runs, 3 earned, over 3 2/3 on Wednesday, losing to the Padres. Padres are going to be a problem. Any lack of trust in Clayton Kershaw moving forward after that start?
I do want to give him a little bit of time coming off of shoulder surgery. At the same time, 2 whiffs is not really what I want to see at all. But I saw people yesterday, like Dodgers fans, saying, it's over. He's nothing but, just a relic of the past, and he's here to sell tickets or something. I think he's still quite a bit better than that. He was very good in his first start back. It's Clayton Kershaw, and I think we have to use different measuring points for these generational type of players. Even though the velocity's down, he's not the same guy. He hasn't really been that same guy for the last couple of seasons, and he's still been great. So I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt here. If people are cutting him today, I'd pretty happily go pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, like in like a 10-team league, I don't know. I think he's at best a streamer. In a 12-team league, you're probably holding on. I'm probably giving him a little bit more leeway than some other guys. So like, maybe I'm paying attention to who he's starting, and I might put him on the bench if it's, a team like the Padres or something like that. But the team context is important. I don't think this is the must drop, kind of like you're alluding to, what some people are saying. Like, it's dependent. It's dependent what's available out there. If you're dealing with just kind of garbagey streamers, I'm not super interested in it. You're going to have these kind of ebbs and flows. But what we do have to pay attention to as well is, as these Dodger pitchers get healthy, quote, air quotes here, if they actually get healthy, and then that rotation becomes something where there's actually depth, then there could be stuff that end up happening with Kershaw. But it's a bad blip. We'll pay attention to it. Matt Shaw, prospect person, Cubs, I'm thinking about. Matt Olson, pair of solo homers yesterday on Wednesday as the Braves beat the Brewers. I want to talk about Olson here for a second. He's up to 17 homers, 226 average. It's been a relatively abysmal season, as everybody knows, especially anybody that made those like early on bets. I'm curious where you are on Shaw. Everything is down kind of across the board. His expected batting average is a little bit better than it currently is, but it's not that much better. Hard hit numbers are down. Strikeouts are way up, but he seems to be kind of getting back into that groove. From a home run perspective, I think that's 4 homers in the last like 5 or 6 games. Are you a buy that Matt Olson is going to have a complete comeback on the back half of these 2 months?
He's batting $172 in July. I don't think I'm really a strong buyer unless you're really getting a huge discount. And there's a chance that you are at this point. 17 homers, 226 batting average. I think people were expecting probably double the amount of home runs with like a 270 average at this point. So maybe you can get him for essentially nothing. But if somebody wants 80, 90 cents on the dollar, I don't think he's earned it, especially because the team is just not good around him either. It's not like Olson has just been the guy struggling. There's obviously no Acuna. There's been no Albies now. It's kind of just been the Marcelo Zuna show offensively there, and it's not enough to sustain everybody in that lineup. And Olson has struggled. Like last year, 127 runs, 139 ribbies. He's not going to crack 100 of either, probably looking at fewer than 30 home runs. I don't see a lot here to really buy in. I think we kind of maybe were a little bit mistaken in buying in off of the career year last year. I think it was a mistake. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but I'm pretty down on Olson at this point.
Yeah, I think he might actually be a decent buy if no one is really bought in, but I'm not buying him at like, hey, Olson is going to return to last year's run and the homers are completely changing. I think there's still like some weird lineup protection stuff. He's still just struggling in general. 20% strikeout rate's really bad. His barrels are really, really bad so far this year. And he's not hitting fastballs. He hit 316 against fastballs last year, 230 right now. So I think this is like a 80 cents on the dollar type of thing. And I'm talking probably about like not original cost of Olson and 80% down, but like take it a couple notches down and then buy 80 cents on that. If someone's trying to get stolen bases, if they're chasing some stolen bases or whatnot, I would look in that territory. We had some new debuts. Jack Flaherty, he's going to make his first start with the team on Saturday and wearing number 0. I've grown. I'm older. Things don't bother me as much, while some things bother me still more than ever. Joe, there's always been something about numbers with me. I've gotten over, back in the day when Taijuan Walker got traded to the Diamondbacks and he wore number 99, I was tweeting at him and he was tweeting back with me about like, why are you wearing 99? I kind of got over that. I'm not over 0. I don't like 0. And the word was Flaherty is going to wear number 0, which that also, it's not a number. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know. It's just not a baseball number and on top of anything, but also number 0 is kind of redundant a little bit in my brain. But does anything like that bother you? Or is that just me? Does the number thing bother you? You see a guy wearing like 64, a baseball player, and you're like, don't do that.
I saw the 0 thing and I thought it was a little bit strange. I just don't feel like there's a great connotation with the number 0. Like I think of Russell Westbrook in his later years. I think of Gilbert Arenas, all right, good early career, but like I don't have great memories with the number 0. And I just think it's like, why do you want to be 0? I don't know. Whatever they want to do, sure. It doesn't bother me so much. I'm not going to be buying the jersey. I'll tell you that for free. But I don't think it's a big deal. What I really don't like is that my AL Cy Young future on Flaherty is now dead. That's what I really don't
like. Bye-bye. Definitely dead. Yeah. And no, I mean, are you kidding me? Okay, you know what? That's so funny. If you think I think that, I was on Sleeper on the Bus yesterday with Paul Sporer and Justin Mason, and I went off on the same thing. I went off on that exact subject. Also really stupid. So like I have some like boomery type of like, ooh, whatever the number thing, but like the facial hair thing is the dumbest thing of all time. I mean, and I think it's hilarious seeing Jazz succeed like he is right now too. And like Yankees fans are like, should he be wearing that color belt or whatever? Like, no, it's so stupid. The Yankees are so stupid with that thing. And I just get worked up about number 0. So I'm back. I'm actually going to go back to disliking Jack Flaherty and not believing anything now that he's number 0. So that's how I treat fantasy sometimes. Also, Martin Perez is making his Padres debut on Saturday against the Rockies. Yusei Kikuchi is going to make his first start with the Astros on Friday against the Rays. So are you going to buy in? There was a lot of negative stuff about Kikuchi. Are you a Kikuchi in Houston guy or nay?
I have been really a big fan of Kikuchi. I know that the numbers on the surface are really bad. I think he's been a little bit unlucky from a few different perspectives. Like he's still got a 20% strikeout minus walk rate. There's like 15 guys in all of baseball who meet that threshold. He's got like a low 3s Sierra xFIP. Those numbers are really good. I do worry about the home run problem with that short Crawford box in left field. That could be something that is a bit of a problem. He's got a much better offense behind him now. I think that it's generally a positive move for Kikuchi still. The Blue Jays were awful. Kikuchi had like 4 wins or something this season. That should be something you can project to get better. And I think overall, we're going to see him start to regress a little bit more. One other thing is the turf in Toronto, the high BABIPs for a lot of Toronto pitchers. You're not going to see that same exact numbers, like 340, 350 in Toronto. You've seen it with Gausman the last couple of years. That turf leads to some kind of unpredictable things. I don't think we'll see it to the same degree in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, Houston in general is like a net positive. That was actually the kind of crazy thing about the trades too. If you guys want to check that out, it was Bogman, myself, it's Sporer, and Justin Mason breaking down all the trades and trying not to be like a prisoner of the moment. But like it felt like every other trade, or like 8 out of 10 trades, like there were net positives in this trade deadline of players moving on. And it's like, oh, this destination is good. Like even where, like maybe a Lane Thomas, like the right-handed ballpark factors in Cleveland, they're not like the left. It's almost opposite. It's like really bad for right-handers, really good for left-handers right now. The ballpark factor's gone. So you could maybe even like theory look and like, oh, that's maybe a negative, and maybe Cleveland has him run a little bit less, but then he's hitting 2. He's going to hit 2 on that team. And it's like Fetty goes to the Cardinals, Kikuchi goes to the Astros. Every single player, there were just net positives almost across the board. There was a couple players that weren't really great, but there were just really good positives on them moving and what that's going to do. With with really some of the like main negatives being like Isak Paredes, with his game specifically being with the Cubs and the pull side, that wasn't good. Or theoretical platoons like Tommy Pham might just nix all of that and it might not matter at all, but he's probably going in there to be probably more of that right side platoon, but he might get some more at bats. A lot of those like veteran-y outfielders that get traded end up getting put kind of in a platoon situation, but just so many net positives, Joe. There were so many good ones. Did you have a favorite positive trade like that you thought impacted the value the most?
Flaherty's definitely up there. Jazz is definitely up there as well. Like going to such a better hitting environment. The Marlins offense has just been disgustingly bad. Now he gets to hit probably, I think they've had him batting 5th, but right around Judge and Soto, much better RBI opportunity. He's also going to get third base eligibility. And on some platforms, you might have Jazz next year, 2nd, 3rd outfield potentially. Like maybe 2nd will be a little bit tricky. I think it depends on where you're playing, but that is just a huge boost for his current day and future value. But Jack Flaherty is another guy who's been so brilliant this year. Like I've been a huge fan of his. Wins have been hard to come by in Detroit. In Los Angeles, they've been a little bit hard to come by as well. If you look at Tyler Glass now, just the other night, 7 strong innings, the bullpen blew the lead for him. And the back end of the Dodgers pen might make that a little bit trickier now to secure wins, but big positive for Flaherty, big positive for Jazz. Those are probably the 2 biggest ones for me.
So interesting too that the 2 teams in that division that weren't the Dodgers prioritized themselves off of getting relief pitching, while the Dodgers, that wasn't really their game plan. Obviously getting a guy like Flaherty and utility offensive and defensive players, but nothing on the bullpen side where the Diamondbacks go and get Puck and Floro. And then obviously the Padres trade an entire organization to get 2 relief pitchers. So pretty crazy. Hey, we'll do something a little bit different. We haven't done it in a little bit. Let's answer some questions from the Peanuts and Cracker Jack. Sometimes we try to get to you guys, but I've been marking down some of your questions. So we'll do a little bit of rapid fire, seeing what you guys have got for us today. RM, I'm going to guess Garcia, drop Gleyber Torres for Jackson Holliday. Yay or nay?
I would do that. Yeah. Glaber's been brutal. I know he's been a bit better recently, but I don't trust him. I don't trust the way that the Yankees, I don't know. I don't trust his messaging either. Like he's been very negative publicly. I think the Yankees are getting to the point where they're kind of done with him, whether he starts losing playing time. And on top of that, he's just been pretty bad as well. So I'll take Holliday. I'll take the upside there pretty much every day. Yeah,
same Z's. I'm kind of done with Gleyber right now. I don't think the story of Gleyber is done. I don't think that, like, Joe's catchphrase here, I don't think we're done with Gleyber long term. I just don't think he's going to be a Yankee this season. I think like next year he's going to get traded off, and we've seen brilliance from him before. We just got to get back to that. Casey said, just got offered Gilbert for my Yamamoto in a dynasty league, except I will tell you, I think Joe would instantly accept this. I'm a little bit indifferent. I lean Yamamoto in dynasty, so I would rather him. But I will say, if you are in a heavy competitive side to this, and you need those innings, you need those starts right now, they're close enough that maybe you could justify it. But I would say I would rather Yamamoto like in a vacuum. What say you?
I think it's really close. You're definitely more the dynasty guy between us. I think it's probably really close. Gilbert has great skills, the great ballpark. I think it's probably a coin flip, which I know doesn't really help much. I would probably lean towards Yamamoto, but I think it's essentially even.
Okay. Lee said, this was at the beginning of the chat when people were getting in, said, can we have an adult conversation how Mark Vientos should be a top 10 third baseman going into next season? We could. 16 homers, 286 batting average, a beautiful, beautiful red savant page of expected from WOBA to slugging to batting average, 45% hard hit rate, an elite 17% barrel rate, which he has maintained and grown through the year, which I think is so key, especially if you're a good hard hit guy and then you can barrel the ball. That is just the beginning mixture of something amazing. And then you can start sprinkling in the other pieces of hitter, the hitter soup that's going to be made. And for him, it's just a lot of the great stuff. It's like a double-digit degree launch angle, which is really solid. Great max EV numbers as well. Wildly, this is one of the weirdest things I guess it's just flipped. This is still weird. He is seeing way more breaking balls. We don't usually see rookies or young players have a mix where they're seeing more breaking balls than fastballs early on. It's usually like if you're using the savant designations of like breaking fastball off speed, you'll see like a 54 to 56% fastball, then breaking, and then off speed. He is seeing more breaking. So there's a book out on him and he's hitting sub 200 against, but he's absolutely murdering everything else. So I think there's a great recipe in there for a huge dynasty buy. And he might be, I'd have to look at my ranks. I was just playing around with him, but they're rested this season. I actually think he's going to vie for the top 12 starting third baseman. If he finishes out this year how he has, it probably will be unanimous top 10 third baseman. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really buy that he's going to be a 286 hitter. I think he's probably more in like the 250, 260 range, but he's probably got 30 home run bat in that lineup, assuming, we still have Pete Alonso next year and assuming there's no massive changes. He could be a close to 100 RBI guy. And he's still, forget about next year. This season, he's only on 60% of rosters. People haven't really bought in so much. First base, third base.
On where? ESPN?
Yahoo, which, I know it's not perfect, but I still see, if I look every day, part of my own podcast is looking at, the top adds and drops. Jackson Holliday was added 11,000 times today. So it's not like people are just not playing anymore. Yeah. I don't understand why a guy like Vientos doing what he's doing, dual eligibility on a hot team, is still out there in almost half of leagues.
I got a great question. I'm so excited. People can see it on my face. If you say, whenever I get a really good question I'm excited about, I'm going to start smiling. And all I want to do is ask the question, rest of season, Mark Vientos or Matt Olson?
Can you imagine asking that in March and getting laughed at?
Can you imagine this, the vitriol that you would get across the board? Mark Vientos or Matt Olson? Also, I want to see the chat. I want to see you guys talk about Matt Olson or Mark Vientos rest of season.
I think I'd still have to go Olson, but man, it's really close. I have to really think about it. I could see the argument for Vientos if you're in need of third base. Third base has been pretty bad, and Vientos has been better, so it's not like it would be crazy to take him. We've only got 7-8 weeks left. There's not a lot of time for Olson to turn it around, so I don't think it would be crazy to say Vientos, but I would still have to default to Olson here. He had 54 home. He was the number 2 overall player last season. That's not in the outcomes for Vientos. Olson could go as the number 1 player next month, and while it would be surprising, he's done it before. Vientos still hasn't reached those heights just yet.
Yeah, and everybody had JP Olson. It's all the Olsons in there, but I feel like it's close. I would also take Olson, by the way, but I think that's the level and that's the plane that Vientos is getting into. So that's fun. Yeah. And then we'll do quick burns on these last two. What to do with Sean Murphy, 12-team head-to-head points? Hold or drop?
If it's a 2-catcher league, then I'd hold on. If it's a 1-catcher league, then you can churn and burn there. There's probably a better option, or at least the serviceable option there that you can stream in week to week. It's been a bad year for him, but two-catcher leagues, you don't really have a choice but to hold on.
Lee asks me, is Sewald out of the job? I'll tell you this. Torey Lovello has been such a staunch pain in the ass about this the entire year. Every time someone asks him, he dismisses it. Everybody in the locker room wants Sewald. Everyone wants this and that. And it's like, do they? Does everybody still want him 100% when he's blowing games left and right? I I don't think he will be out, so you're safe if you still hold him. But I do think that they may explore some other options inside. They had Ryan Thompson come in for one of those. I think Ginkel is one of those guys. I feel like this question is directed at AJ Puck. No, I do not think AJ Puck is going to get saves early on. I think they will go with Ginkel or Ryan Thompson. And I do think there's a chance that they move between those guys. I think now it's the time where maybe he stops holding on, but he is so pro Paul Sewald, you wouldn't believe it. It's really incredible, and he stinks right now. 3 up and 3 down. We got oh no, I missed the just for fun rookie lookies. I don't want to just get past this good stuff. Brenton Doyle in the just for fun 1 for 4 solo homer. And by the way, remember when he got pulled on the trade deadline and everyone was like, oh my God, is he going to get traded? He's been ridiculous so far. 11 homers with a 333 slash in July. One of the most unheralded seasons so far. And like Eric said, this is interesting. Robert or Doyle long-term. I am going to say Robert, but it is a way close. Like, I think I have been the most disrespectful to Brenton Doyle this year of any single player. I just have not given him his due. Like, I think we all have that sometimes. We have a guy. I don't know, Joe, if you can think of the guy that you just didn't give him his proper due all season long. I'm pretty confident mine was Brenton Doyle.
Ronald Blanco for me. I've just been calling on his downfall the whole year. Now he's kind of struggling a little bit, but like every week I was writing him as a sell. And every week it was 7 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. And I was like, Jesus, every time out. Now it's starting to crumble a little bit, but yeah, I got the mentions were flooded whenever I'd mention Ronald Blanco because I've missed badly on that one. No problem admitting I missed badly.
Yeah, and that happened. We all have those. Rookie lookie Jackson Shuri 2 for 5 with a run score on Wednesday as a but he's good. Thorpe, he got throttled 6 runs over 5 innings and losing to the Royals. I just didn't see him getting waxed like that. And Max Meyer is going to be starting today against the Braves. So Max Meyer back in business. Be good to see him. Maybe not the best matchup though. On the 3 up and 3 down, the actual 3 up and 3 down now. Pablo Lopez on the 3 up, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts over 6 innings as they beat the Mets. Been a good buy in the second half, not like solely, but he's been pretty good. Freddie Peralta bounced back, struck out 7, allowed 2 runs over 6 in the no decision against the Braves, and Zach Gallen allowed 1 run and 6 strikeouts over 6 innings as the Diamondbacks continue their winning ways and beat the Nationals. On the down, Chris Sanchez lit up 6 runs over 5 2/3 in a loss to the Yankees. Nick Lodolo, 8 runs, 11 hits. The Nick Lodolo thing has not worked out. Is that like as fun as it's been this year? Nick Lodolo is a bit of a problem and I think he's at best streamable right now, where he seemed like a lock to keep going. I mean, this is a tough matchup and everything like that, but I don't think I'm trustworthy on Nick Lodolo rest of season. Are you?
I think the talent's a lot better than what we've seen recently, but it's just so hard to trust Cincinnati pitchers in shallow formats. That ballpark, and no, to his credit, the home run problem is not really such a home run problem, but I think I'd agree. If you're in a really shallow league, he's probably more streamable, but he's the type of guy I know as soon as I drop him, we're going to fire off 3 gems in a row because the skills are still there, but it's been pretty rough.
Yeah, I love his sweeper, and yeah, like someone just said, like get him in a new place. Love to see him get moved. I just don't think the Reds want to. By the way, Lee said almost needed a Puppet Welsh. I think I clicked on something and my computer was like, wah. So Joe, just letting you know in the future, you may need to get like a Welsh ready. Just have like poofy hair and just be like, hey, friendos, like however, you just make fun of me. Like just get ready to make fun of me. On the injury front, Garrett Cole reported no issues throwing on Wednesday, likely to start against the Blue Jays this weekend, getting a little spell there. Mookie Betts been cleared to start some batting practice. We'd like to get him in games immediately. Walker Buehler make another rehab assignment in AAA on Thursday, so that could line up to him starting early next week, which would just really be good for everybody. Luis Grifo was removed from Wednesday night's game against the Rockies in the 8th inning due to a wrist injury, and I think it already might be like IL stent. Joe Musgrove is scheduled to make his first rehab minor league start on Sunday, so maybe mid-ish August, late-ish August, we'll end up seeing him. That would be great for the Padres. Starling Marte is going to be starting up a rehab assignment next week. X-rays on Brandon Nimmo's foot came back negative, and Justin Verlander faced live hitters at Minute Maid Park on Tuesday. Hopefully getting him back here in the very near future as well. Friends, that is going to take us. Joe, do you want to do this with me? You want to do this part with me? Okay.
Oh, of course.
All right. So you're going to play the me role. So friends, it's all of your favorite. Yes, it is the Thursday best bets
of the day.
That's right. Brought to you by Bet365 with Joey O, Joe Arico, and the Welsh. Best bets brought to you by Bet365. Use that promo code, of course, leading off $5 for 150. Do it today, if I can speak. The betting market, horrible yesterday. I actually went and I'm going to be placing a little bit. One of my top bets here is a betting pros prop cheat sheet play that I really like. So I'm going to lean on that a little bit right now. But Joe, what do you got for the day for the best bets of the day?
I've got 3 bets, of course, and we're going to target Trevor Rogers in his debut. I don't think Trevor Rogers is very good. I don't think I'm in the minority on that opinion. He's been pretty awful, and you're getting over 2.5 runs at plus money. I don't see Trevor Rogers coming out of this one allowing fewer than 2 earned runs against a very good offense in Cleveland. So this one was a pretty easy one. I'm kind of surprised it was plus money. Like the books respecting Rogers in any way was a little bit of a surprise. So that one for me is the first one. Cater Montero for the Tigers. I'm taking under 3.5 strikeouts. He's facing a Kansas City team that doesn't strike out. 18% strikeout rate is the second best in all of baseball. He's been really struggling as of late. I don't know that we're going to see him even get to 5 innings, but the strikeout rate, even if he does, it's going to be pretty tricky for him to get the 4 Ks against Kansas City. So you're also getting that one at plus 115. And then we're targeting a total over Los Angeles and Colorado. You know, Feltner and Fulmer here, I just don't see them keeping this game under 9 runs total. We're talking about really, especially Ryan Feltner, especially both of them, really. They're both pretty bad. I know Fulmer on the surface has a 3.77 ERA, but it's really bad if you start to dig and you look at the underlying numbers for him. So between these two guys, I don't see them and the respective pens keeping this total under 9. All of them at plus money. That one's plus 100. And all of them at Bet365.
Interesting one about Cater Montero. That is actually one of the top cheat sheet over prop K numbers for the day.
Really?
It'll be very interesting to see. This is a U versus the prop projection cheat sheet for the strikeouts and how the Montero one works out. I couldn't go either side of it. I like where you're going with it, and I think it makes sense. To me, this feels like a 2 strikeout or a 6 strikeout game. It's going to go one way or the other. I am, like I said, I went over to the prop cheat sheet, which you can do. Go over to bettingpros.com, download the app, and you can check out, and they've got all their top plays. It is great because you can filter it and organize it in different ways by top probability, top EV, and you can just go to different markets because usually it'll throw out, maybe like here's a run prop and blah, blah, blah. I like to go and sort by total base and strikeouts. Those are really the 2 markets that I kind of hyper focus on. So the total base one, Anthony Santander, that is a plus money play. He has hit 8 of 15 games. So essentially a over 50% marker where he has gone over the total bases. So I am taking Anthony Santander total bases over 1.5 today. That is plus money. And I'm going to jump in on a couple nerfies and we're going to ride them. One of them is a higher juice number, Chicago and St. Louis. That is Sonny Gray, Imanaga. It is definitely more juiced up, but we're going to play it. The 2 good starting pitchers. And then you've got Atlanta and Miami on the no-run first inning. Max Meyer in there, I think, kind of helps this situation on top of Charlie Morton. That one, minus 130. So 2 nerfies and a total base prop. You guys want to check out more, you can go to bettingpros.com. You can check out all the other plays that they've got for you. And friendos, those are the best bets of the day for Thursday. Look at that. Bad transition there. All right, home runs. Let's check out the home run board because I do have a new updated home run board. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a chance to do the funniest thing of all time. You have a chance, because Joe will be here tomorrow, Joe Pisapia, to knock Joe off the board his last day on the show for the season, which single-handedly will be the funniest thing that can happen. He is just hanging on the tippy bottom of the board. We need some people to jump up. It's a small slate today, though. Wonky does have 29, still on the board at 17. Elskell's got the lead at 37, a 2 home run lead over B-Trots and Silent Dragon at 35. Larry's at 4 with 34. People doing great. Everybody but me is doing really great. So, Joe Rico, where are you going to go with your home run call today?
I'm going with Jorge Soler in his home debut, quote unquote debut at Truist Park against Max Meyer, who has struggled with allowing some home runs. throughout his career, really. I mean, it's like a 1-2 homer per 9, which isn't crazy, but Soler really has been better as of late. That power is undeniable, and I think that he's the guy that I'm going to go with. I wouldn't mind going with any member of the Braves, really, at the top of that order, Ozuna as well, but I'm going to go with Jorge Soler here, making a splash in his return to Atlanta.
Yeah, and I like the leading off thing too. I like him not, no pun intended, like I said the name, like the leading off of for the Atlanta Braves. I'm going to go with Anthony Santander. I'm going to tag with my total base prop. I'm going to tag him for a homer, maybe get a couple and get back up on the board. Hey, I did want to mention something. Eddie Buzz asked a really good question. Welsh, are you prospecting today? We've moved off of a lot of our like scheduled, like we did with the trades and the waivers and stuff like that. I will tell you, I do want to have a little bit of regimen coming into August. We're getting into the playoffs as far as maybe like pickups and streamers, something we are going to hit. Not doing prospecting today, but I do think I will tackle it tomorrow. I don't know if we'll do it every Thursday. Hey, if the people speak, we got to listen, of course, but I want to let things settle a tiny bit. Next Thursday, we will come back. I will do a prospecting with the Welsh. Well, it might be a different day. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but we will do another prospecting segment once we've got a little bit of idea of like, all right, we've moved, we're into August. We know what's happening with these teams. They're not doing a funky thing for a day or two. Caminero, stuff like that. So we'll get back and we'll do some prospecting next week, my friends, so we can get you locked in. Joe Rico, you're always amazing. You can find him on Twitter at Joe Rico99. Go and check out all his great work. You can find me at Is It The Welsh. And friends, you can catch me and Pisa Pia on his season ender tomorrow. Not done forever, just a season ender. We might even get him back a little bit. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. For Joe Rico, I'm Welsh. Thank you guys as always. Have a great day, and we will talk to you to end out the week. Happy August right here on Leading Off. Peace, friends.